Hello, everyone. Izabella Ritz, an Amazon Made Simple podcast. Today is the very interesting day. I have the one and only, my Amazon guy, Stephen Pope. It's been 2 years since we discussed that we are going to do the podcast. So finally, we're here. Finally, we're talking. And the topic today will be pretty sharp because we'll be talking about AI and how Stephen Pope hates AI in any type of the data. So anyway, let's dive in. Steven, welcome.
So I don't think I'm the only one that hates AI. So I don't think I'm going to be in shallow company, but thanks for having me on. It's good to see you again, and I'm excited to be here.
Probably for some people, you need some introduction because I don't believe there is anybody that doesn't know who you are, but
there's many people. Many people.
Yeah.
So I'm the founder of My Amazon Guide, and I'm an influencer in the space that likes to talk about how to grow sales on Amazon. And so I manage over $1.2 billion in annual revenue on the Amazon platform. And everything that we do is a full service agency, grow sales, traffic generation and PPC, SEO, and CTR. Nobody's talking about CTR. And then on the conversion front, design, merchandising, catalog troubleshooting, all of the filing of seller support tickets. In fact, the one thing I think AI should do is replace seller support. Seller support is so bad, right? Like just so awful. How many of us have filed a ticket with Amazon and almost had a heart attack out of indigestion from just the sheer ineptitude over there? So I would replace seller support.
But they're always happy to do business with you when you see the message that that is coming from them. Thank you for doing business with Amazon, but you know now you're going to off.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's be clear. I bite the hand that feeds me for sure. And nobody sent me a cease and desist from Amazon yet. So knock on wood. But obviously, I love Amazon. I love what I do. It's a great platform to sell on. But I think they have some terrible policies and we should hold them accountable.
Absolutely. So what do you think about, because you hate AI, Amazon implemented Rufus and Cosmo. So what are your thoughts about those two guys?
Well, I think that an AI is inevitable. So I do want to establish that AI has some inevitability here. And, you know, whether I hate it or not, it's here. So we've established that it's inevitable. The problem
is that AI is here, guys. You heard it.
Yeah. The problem is that it's not smart enough yet to be truly valuable in many instances, despite the claims about how it can be used. So there's a lot of people on social media hyping AI. And I think there is some level of justification for AI. But as it relates to Amazon, if we really were honest with ourselves, like how many real uses of AI are there today as an Amazon seller or as an Amazon buyer? I think the use cases are very limited. So one of the things that I do use AI for would be to take a lot of data and chop it up and cleanly organize the data. I think a lot of people are using AI to write bullet points. I think a lot of people are using AI to help with keyword distribution. So what I mean by that is like, hey, I've got my 1,000 keywords from, you know, a tool like Helium 10. And then I export it, and then I'm like, hey, AI, make me 60 sets of alt text with 100 characters following Stephen Pope's My Amazon Guy SEO rules. AI can do that, right? And I could even demo how it would do that.
And when they do that, do they upload in your SOPs, or AI is just pulling it from open sources?
So certain AIs can pull accurately from open sources. Perplexity would be probably the best at pulling open sources, and it actually cites it in the source. But sometimes when I give the same prompt to Claude or ChatGPT or Perplexity, I almost get word for word similar responses. And it makes me wonder, I'm like, are they all using the same engine? And I have those sort of questions. And I think one of my biggest—
And here's a test to run. Like if you'll take the word hippopotamus and you can ask that, yes, you can ask how many P's are in this word, and it's 3. So when you will ask ChatGPT in different instances telling you 2 or 3, Claude AI is answering 2, Gemini is answering 2, and Llama is answering 3. So 2 and 2 AIs are answering different questions, different answers. And in this specific case, we have to like really think who is working on the back end. And my opinion that Claude is utilizing ChatGPT just because
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, the answers are pretty accurate with both of them. Okay, keep going. Just wanted to add my sense.
And you started naming a few different AI platforms. Grok 2 just came out. That's Elon Musk's on X. And we got to see a lot of funny pics this week on Twitter, including a pregnant Kamala Harris holding hands with Trump. And this is not a podcast about politics, but that's
she's pregnant from Trump. That will be such a fun turn around for this election.
Yeah, it's going to hit the fan on politics. And no matter how you guys feel about that, it's hilarious. Like, sign me up for some politics memes for sure. And the real reason why I mention this, you know, isn't the political aspect so much as the fact that Grok is the first to allow this stuff, right? And so one of the biggest things that I have a negative taste on AI is the censorship. And you can't do certain things inside of all of these AI platforms. And so Elon Musk, who's super pro free speech and zero censorship of any kind, is going to allow for way more creativity. And so the limitations that we're seeing from some of these AI platforms are going to hold back the tech. Think about the internet, say year 2000, how awesome the internet used to be. And today we have big search engines like Google holding us back and telling us how to think and changing the definition of things or hiding certain websites. So that's one of my biggest complaints with AI. It's biased. You also pointed out that it's inaccurate. And the reason it's inaccurate, though, is not because AI is dumb, but because it's biased. And I want to delineate that a little bit, because like you can program AI to give you bad info. You can program the AI through repetition to give everybody else bad info. That's censorship. That is happening because it's programmable context. If AI was allowed to reveal the code, if it was open source, if it didn't have censorship, I would be a much bigger fan. So, you know, put me in the Elon Musk camp on Grok 2. I have not actually tested it myself. I just appreciate what it stands for.
You just said about Grok 2, and I immediately want to pull Grok 2 and see how it looks like. So I will not forget to look at it later.
You got to pull up some funny shots of Musk and Kamala Harris walking on the beach. I mean, like you got to get that up there on the podcast.
I will put it in my next newsletter for sure, because I never used it. So that's something you learn every single day, especially with AI. So
I just shared my screen. If you want to pull it up on screen, I don't know if you want to include it or not. Your call.
Yeah, let's do it. Why not?
Here's some of the stuff that's coming out, right? We got Trump kissing Musk. We've got Trump holding the baby, you know.
Oh my God.
Just some hilarious stuff coming out, right? Like AI video goes viral, Donald Trump, Kamala Harris kiss, romance stroll on the beach. Like, I mean, just this is the sort of stuff I signed up for when I want to use AI. Like just classic stuff. Now, if you go into a tool like Perplexity and tell it to do something like this, it'll tell you no. And I don't like being told no, right? Like AI should not be able to tell me what I can and can't do. So I'll leave that there. I think, you know, I don't want to hammer too hard on the bias. I think people get where I'm coming from, or the censorship. So I'll pause on those thoughts. But I feel very strongly that we need an open source, freedom-esque sort of AI. And without that, everybody's copy is going to sound robotic. Everybody's copy is going to sound the same. And it's going to be less creative.
Okay, to a certain extent, I would agree with that. But what about doing the reverse engineering of the listing? I know you're a big guy of creating listings and doing optimization. To my memory, you're also using old school postcards that you're sending to people saying, hey, your listing is absolutely horrible. We can make it better. And then they are calling you like, hey, Steven, yeah, you're probably right. So let us make sure our listing is better and ready for Q4, and then you're onboarding these people to the agency. So that was a short pitch for Steven, guys. In case if you want to sign up with my Amazon guide, the link is below. So now, when you're working with the listings, you're definitely, and I would not believe that you're not doing any scraping of consumers' avatars, and you're not considering the shopper's experience. So do you believe that we can utilize AI to make the listings better,
Yes.
to help us improve it with this perspective, because how many competitors the human will be able to analyze within 24 hours or like 2 hours, and what can do AI for in this regard?
All right, so let's do a live demo on this to show what I do appreciate about AI. Okay, so
we guys have 2 podcasts. We have voice podcast, audio podcast, so you can listen, and we also have and we have also the YouTubes that most of you are actually watching. So in this case, just if you are listening, when you will have time, just go to the YouTube and you will be able to see how it actually looks like.
Okay, so on the screen here, we have a blackhead clearing scrub. I have physically bought this. I'm taking some testosterone treatment right now, and it's causing me to have acne. It's one of the worst side effects of taking testosterone. So this is an actual product. I've used it. 10,000 people buy this a month. Very popular product. Well under optimized listing. Some of the basics, like a secondary image is just a duplicate with the worst resolution. There's a lot of problems going on in this listing. So if we wanted to come in and clean up this listing and make it better, one of the things that we could do is to use AI. So Perplexity, because it can crawl physical results, can replace Google, can replace a lot of some of the dirty work. So we're going to give it a prompt, and we're going to say something like, I need your help to redo my Amazon listing. There's the link. Crawl the top 10 sellers in blackhead scrubs. Come up with the top 10 keywords for SEO based on volume, and redo the bullet points to express the consumer's best interests by looking at the reviews, actually read them and consult them. Use the customer's own language plus the keywords that we want to chase, and spit back out 5 bullet points with 250 characters per bullet. Okay, so we're gonna see what this does. That's a pretty long prompt, very high probability.
It's a great prompt because you specified it, and as more specific you are, the better results you'll get.
Okay, so it's claiming it can't crawl the Amazon listing, and it could be that Amazon's preventing an async crawl, and maybe that's like a new development. But it did spit out some stuff. So while I can't provide specific keyword data, also another reason why I don't like AI, there's limitations. But tools like Amazon's own search engine, here's the Google Keyword Planner, bullet points. So you may have to do some of the keyword research manually and export it over. So one of the things that you could do is go over to the Amazon listing, hit the keyword button, go over to Helium 10, I'm in Cerebro, and I could physically download the list. And that's what we'll do instead of this to improve the output that we'll experience. So from here, I'll hit export. There's 4,400 organic keywords, which is fairly decent. Normally, when we do an export, we would be looking at more of like 10 top ASINs, but we'll still get the point across when we do this. So I'm going to upload. Attached is keyword data, redo the prompt with the attachment data in mind, emphasize high volume, high buyer intent keywords. Give me the top 10 keywords, and then redo the bullets with the above prompt in mind. Okay, so we'll recheck. So here's what it spit out. Deeply cleanses pores, visibly reduces blackheads with natural exfoliants, leaving your skin feeling refreshed and looking clear. This is not keyword dense enough to my liking. I think that the consumers don't actually read bullet points, and I think we need to keyword stuff it. I believe personally that photos are for people and text is for robots. So because I have that view, it's okay to use AI to fix up the bullets, to fix up the text, right? I also, one of the prompts that we'll do here is the alt text, and I'll probably do that one next. But here's the answer provided on the data. Here's the top 10 keywords: face scrub, blackhead remover, exfoliating face wash. The likelihood of this being accurate is at least 95%. One of the ways you could gut check this is by looking at the word frequency or word bubble chart on the mid right here in Cerebro, where it says face, scrub. Face is in 2,100 keywords, scrubs in 1,400 keywords, wash, acne, facial, exfoliating, blackhead. And when we look at the list here, it pretty much matches up very nicely. These are generic keywords, makes sense. So then it redid it based on that. It also gives us links for how it's sourcing its information, which is one of the nice things about Perplexity. Okay, so this is something that it did okay at. But if we do like a control C, control F in the bullet points, did it use it in the bullet points? Yes, it did, which is good. And you'd want to like go through and QA that and validate that it was accurately doing that, because if not, then it's like, oh, it's like how many peas are in hippopotamus? Mr. AI got that one wrong, right?
So if we want to include the keywords that have high intent and the keywords that are actually making us some type of revenue, right? So the Helium 10 has title density, and Helium 10 also has keywords per sale data. So can you utilize those insights and include them into the Perplexity and ask Perplexity to analyze both of those files and extract for you the keywords that will be actually high intent for the purchase, and we will utilize those in the SEO? Does it make sense?
So I do think that AI passes 60% of the time the sniff test for generally correct, for directional correctness on looking at the data and organizing it. Another thing that I think that AI has passed a higher sniff test would be like the alt text scenario. So the next thing that I did was I asked it for 30 sets of 100 character alt text following Stephen Pope's SEO alt text rules. Okay. And here's the spit out: face scrub, blackhead remover, exfoliating wash, acne treatment, facial cleanser, pore minimizer, celiac acid, natural skincare. That is spot on great. Okay. Now, one of the things that it may not have done is use Spanish. So I might do a follow-up and say, give me 5 more with Spanish and 5 more with misspellings. So sometimes it misses, even though that's in the Stephen Pope handbook, it may have missed that. But the nice thing is that it can go crawl all of the videos and the content that I've made on this, and it did accurately spit out following the rules, but it didn't get the Spanish or the misspelling, so we'll prompt it to do that. Here we have Spanish, here we have misspellings. And then what we do is we'd go back to the listing, and then the brand story, you can have up to like 96 photos loaded to the brand story. Fun fact, that's 96 products you can link to. And let's say you have actually
that at least 1% went to the 96 picture.
Yeah. Well, I think it's higher than that, because think about it. If you scroll above the brand story, what do you see? You see ads where you can go horizontal, right? And so if you're going horizontal like this, you're going to see a lot of different products. So what can the brand story do? It takes up horizontal content. So the St. Ives brand right here is much significantly larger than seeing just, the 12 products we see on the screen here. They had a lost opportunity. Right now, they're fitting in a little bit of alt text. They're putting in skincare St. Ives, but they haven't actually optimized it for SEO purposes, which is a huge missed opportunity. So if we look at what Perplexity spit out, where we have face scrub, exfoliating wash, acne treatment, blackhead remover, this alt text would improve the current 4,400 organically keyword index probably to 5,000 keywords index with just this one change in about 2 to 3 weeks. That's a huge thing. That's like 10% SEO growth by just filling in alt text. So here is a time, I'm going to crap all over AI whenever I can, but here's the one thing that I really do like about AI's ability is to make it easy on me to copy and paste general best practices for SEO. And
so here's the question: how can we make sure that everything you just did with AI, which is absolutely amazing, will be winning our competitor based on the strength of the keywords?
So if, depending on the inputs that you give AI, will dictate the level of excellence from the output. So if you put in some legwork and you get the 10 ASIN exports out of Amazon, and then you load that into AI and you say, hey, use the average rank of a keyword that these 10 competitors have with high search relevancy, but also that the average of all the 10 competitors is in the top 20%. By using a rule set like that and a good input, the export will be much better. When it comes to alt text, I don't think that level of technique is quite necessary, but the bullet points, I would go that far. With alt text, you have so many iterations that you have to do. If you do A+ content brand stories correctly, right? In the brand story, you have 96 photos you could load if you launched all 96 products in the brand story. Now, you're probably closer to like 70 or 80 you know, depending on your brand size, depending if you want to put text in a module or a full size photo versus 4 products. But if you think about it, like, you know, if we go into the calculator and type in 90 times 90, that's 8,100 potential internal links at Amazon. Why would I bring this up? Because everybody knows backlinks help SEO. So think about it. If in your brand story, you could create 8,100 backlinks with one technique, would you want to do that? Sign me up for backlinks, right? Internal links on Amazon. So if you link all of your products together 8,100 times, because you load your brand story, you link to 90 of your products, assuming you have 90 products, and you link all 90 products to the other 90 products, that's 8,100 different links. And that's just the brand story. That doesn't even count the A+ content. So in the A+ content, you could probably get another 30 photos in here.
But you're linking those links inside of the Amazon. You are still not linking them to the external platform. And this is what like we actually want to. Like, for example, by the way, that's the question to you. You probably have already answered to that. We've been just at ASD2G, right? And Matt Castan, he shared the trick how you can make your listings index in Perplexity. So how would you do it with this technique that you already have, right? So you just uploaded, you got the 32 data sets of the like different keywords and bullet points and everything. So we figure out how you can link them in between each other. So now we have 8,100 links inside. So now what would be your best strategy to now be in Perplexity? So when somebody is looking at a black hat foliation, they will get to this specific product.
Programming SEO for AI, as in to get my product to show up in AI, I think is a lost journey. I know John Aspinall has talked a little bit about it in social media. There's been some other people that are like dabbling. Whatever techniques work on that today will not work 6 to 12 months from now. So if I was an Amazon seller listening to this podcast, I would want to focus on something that I know is scalable and will work long term. So the things that I talk about, the things that I preach about, I am 100% convinced that if you want to use AI to create some SEO alt text, that this is a good technique and it will work a year from now, 100%. If there is a technique that works today to program AI to say Stephen Pope's soaps are the best soaps in the world, I don't think that'll work 6 to 12 months from now. I think that'll get patched super easily. I've seen videos where people can like put it into the product description behind the A+ content where nobody can see it, and then the AI picks up. I have seen it. I have not been able to replicate it. And even if I could, I wouldn't recommend doing something black hat like that, because I think it'll come back and bite people.
Okay. So you believe if we will put some effort into making AI and making our listings being indexed on AI, it might not work in 6 to 12 months from now.
Correct. And I want to delineate here specifically to get AI to say something nice about your product. So for example, if we look at the Amazon AI on the seller app. So if I pull out my phone right now and I go into Amazon's buyer app and I'm trying to use, you know, it's in the bottom right-hand corner here. You can click on the AI bubble, which is Rufus. And here I could say, what is the best men's artisan soap brand? Right? I could ask a question like that. Now, I'm
Stephen Pope's soap.
And what of course I want to hear it come back with is mine. It's not going to, but I wish it did. And so I typed in the best artisan men's soap. There are several brands that stand out for the high quality ingredients, unique scents. It came back with Duke Cannon, which is a competitor. Dr. Squatch came up number 2, which is also a competitor. Baxter, another competitor. Like Age of Sage ain't making the cut here, unfortunately, right? Now, if I was able to program AI to make sure that my product came up number 1 here, that's the sort of thing, like being able to program and leapfrog what the natural AI would have done versus leapfrogging it by convincing AI that I put the word, I put the exact prompt into my listing description. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that's going to work 6 to 12 months from now. So why bother spend time on doing that? I don't know. I also don't think consumers are using Rufus to begin with, but that's another story.
Right. But at the same time, you can program somehow to be indexed in Perplexity and GPT, where like you're asking Perplexity, give me like top 15 exfoliation blackhead treatments, and it will give you your product. And because Perplexity is such a new AI and it will gather more and more and more links, I believe that if you will be like in this very beginning and you'll be indexed on on recommended products, because Perplexity is linking your product and it's letting you know like, look, you can click here, and it's also recommending you pictures. Same thing with the Copilot. And then if you are able to be indexed on these platforms, then it's a long-term game, because now you can be indexed for free, and then in like 3-5 years from now, when people are searching for this type of product, it's popping up like in first ones.
So I obviously would appreciate the same outcome, but my belief is that AI is going to go through so many revolutions that people are going to spin their wheels trying to game it or trying to leg up, and then a patch every 2 or 3 months later, all the work is for naught, right? So when I look at Amazon sellers, and I'm an Amazon seller, and I think about them, and I put my head in their shoes and my feet in their shoes, and I think, what should I focus on as an Amazon seller? And my belief set is, do something that is scalable, do something that will always work. And with moving targets, put in a 5% effort when you have time, but like put your 95% effort into fixing your main image, right? You don't need AI to know how to fix a main image in 2024, but Amazon CTR is the fastest way to grow sales right now. So I think people get shiny object syndrome. They're like, oh, I got to work on this latest hack or this latest thing. And I just don't think AI is worth putting in more than the 5% effort right now. Give me my alt text, make my job a little easier so I don't have to do some copy and pasting. Absolutely. Sign me up for that AI trying to get my product to sell more to other people by showing up in Rufus and in Perplexity, I just don't know if that's going to pay out long term.
Well, it's like when you're doing some type of the peak food you're testing, we always have different audience. We have 20/40, 20/60, 40/60, and etc. So in this case, we have a lot of people. I would say the majority of the following and the majority of sellers and the audience are like Stephen Pope. They want to stay with the old school, and I totally respect this. And a minority like me that want to be on top of the AI and making sure we're not staying behind. And it's always a choice. Both of those are guys' work. And everything that Steven is saying is absolutely truth. And if you're going to implement everything he showed today, it's actually pretty cool. I didn't know that you can do this stuff with AI. With the Perplexity, I do similar stuff with GPT. Perplexity is pretty cool, and like all this, like give me everything that Stephen Pope said. That's really amazing. I don't know if I saw you've been working off your account. I don't know if you have like some data set behind, or it's scraping for open sources, but it was really cool.
Open source. Like if somebody just opened it up today, they could say, summarize Stephen Pope's SEO techniques for Amazon. It would spit out correct information.
That's really cool. That's super, super, super cool. And it's like, again, Perplexity, I think it's up to today, right? Perplexity is scraping in real time.
Yeah, it's live. So
yeah.
A year and a half ago, I came out with what was called Mag AI or Magi. And it was to take all of my videos, my 2,000 videos, my 1,000.
I remember you had it on your website, and then I checked it out recently. I'm like, he doesn't have it. Why?
I don't. Yeah. Well, because the amount of money to like operate it was in the thousands, and we only could get 2 people to pay us for it. So we're like, well, consumer interest is just not there. And people don't just want an Amazon seller, Stephen Pope library of information. I then spent time selling my SOPs instead. And, long story short, that was eye-opening that people don't care about AI as much as people think they care about AI. And that was my experience.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I can tell when you're explaining things and like 1 + 1 on the whiteboard, it's much easier than you're asking people, use the voice recording, ask ChatGPT and hear for the response, because it's additional action that people didn't get used to. So both of those works at this time, which were in August 2024. So we'll see in a couple of years where we will be, if we have to keep up with AI, or if we don't have
different. Yeah,
it will be totally different. What definitely I am encouraging everybody, if you have at least 10-15 minutes a day, still learn about AI, because AI will be progressing, AI will be out there. There is no way AI will stay behind and we will come back completely to the old school. It doesn't mean old school is not going to work. It will,
at least in the next 6 to 9 months. Yeah, 6 to 9 months from now, we'll see what the Harris Trump baby looks like. AI will tell us for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll see like how this sensitivity will affect the nation.
We'll see what
as
happens.
well. Yeah. Steve, thank you so much for being here today. It was valuable. It was very engaging. I did notice how these 30 minutes just flew over the head. And I hope I'll see you around and we'll talk soon.
All right. Sounds like a plan. Thanks for having me on.
Hello, everyone. Izabella Ritz and Amazon Made Simple. I want to make sure you're getting the biggest value as possible from my podcast and from every single video I put out there. Please make sure to subscribe to my newsletter that I am posting the link below this video, and you'll be always up to date with the product research, validation, and development. It's completely free, promotion free, pure value forever and ever.